Hola mi gente, ¿cómo están? Mi nombre es Alba Mar, me pueden decir Alba. El canal se llama Seriela, estamos aquí para hablar de libros, algunos de ellos en español desde Puerto Rico. Hi, my name is Alba Mar, you may call me Alba. Channel name is Seriela, we're here to talk about books and some of them in Spanish from Puerto Rico. And today I'm going to show you what I'm currently reading, my Friday reads, and what's coming up for the rest of July, just in case I don't make the videos that I'm thinking of making. And I tried to hold out, but it's very hot, so here goes the headband so we can get started. I haven't had my morning coffee yet, so excuse any faux pas. First of all, I start with my Puerto Rican book, Cómo piensa el colonizado, which is a slow read. Lento, lento. Because, first of all, it's painful. From front to back, it addresses all of the issues we have to deal with daily as a colony here in Puerto Rico. Education, health disparities in the health system, exorbitant taxes, the sales tax, just everything that we have to deal with here. And he is an equal opportunity offender. He holds no punches back. Jesús Ortiz Torres can be very, very critical of everything that has to do with this system. So, another thing that I've noticed about the caricatures here in this book is that they're very time specific. And he's very good at the people, the faces, for example, here. Some people would recognize this person. She used to be the federal district attorney, I think is what you call it here. Yeah, we have two court systems. We have the federal and the local. But yeah, if you don't follow the news, which sometimes I don't because, you know, the news has become a soap opera, a circus. But if you don't follow the news, you wouldn't know who she is. And the same thing with, I thought this was in the book, but it's not. It's his 10 Commandments of the colonized. And there you see the ex-colonial administrator, Ricardo Rosselló, who was ousted last summer about this time. And there's Uncle Sam giving this representation of Puerto Rico the finger. And this is, if you follow the news, this is the president of our local Senate here. And here are the 10 Commandments to follow if you want to keep on being a colonized person. So yeah, Jesús Ortiz Torres does not pull any punches, and this has been a slow and bitter read, but I'll get through it. Yeah. Then for later on this week, I will reread Two Lynchings on Cerro Maravilla by Manuel Manny Suárez, the police murders in Puerto Rico, and the federal government cover-up. Yeah, I read this every year as to commemorate the deaths of those two young men. For Toni Morrison, I will begin the Toni Morrison read along with Hannah and Hannah's books, Toni Morrison's Jazz, because I finished Beloved. And over with Jason at Byways and Bookland, there's read along for Foucault's Pendulum, Umberto Eco. Unfortunately, this week's check-in was postponed because his wife has been hospitalized, and we're keeping her in our thoughts, hoping that she gets better. This is not as intimidating as I thought it would be. I haven't found the esoteric part yet, I guess. Continuing my wonderful read-along with of the new Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander with Belinda of Belinda's books. Not wonderful in happy-go-lucky, carefree sense. No. Tremendous eye-opener, very frustrating. I've read the section that we have assigned ourselves for this week, and at the end of it, I felt like screaming at the Supreme Court of the United States, which shouldn't surprise me after the insular cases in Puerto Rico. Yeah. So, the new Jim Crow. It is an absolute must-read for this moment in history and the Black Lives Matter movement. Don't forget that all the links to support the Black Lives Matter movement and what you can do, the actions you can take, will be in the description box below. Also, continuing with the buddy read that is being hosted by Janet Remembers Reads over on Voxer. I have fallen into a few rabbit holes here after the last section that we've read, in which Cuba has been invaded for the second time under the agreements in the Platt Amendment. And so I wanted to research that a little more. What would be behind the invasion for the second time of Cuba. So I went digging in for that information. And then I also went down a rabbit hole for the Panic of 1907, which was also called Roosevelt's Panic, and how J.P. Morgan saved the United States and capitalism for the world. And I was surprised at how scarce and scant the information for that is online. In terms of different views, yeah, J.P. Morgan was like the savior at that time. I'm chafing at Doris Kearns Goodwin's adoration of Theodore Roosevelt, and because I didn't go into this book at this moment in my life. Maybe when I bought it I did, and because I admired Doris Kearns Goodwin's previous history books, but I did not go into this reading because I wanted to read about great men. No, I wanted to find out what was happening in the United States at the time that the United States decided to invade Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines. In the political world, in the economic world, etc. What was happening? What triggered that invasion, which Puerto Rico is suffering the consequences of right to this day. So, yeah, there are certain parts that my eyes just, yeah, I have to hold my breath and just keep on reading every time Doris Kearns Goodwin mentions the crowds of worshippers, of Teddy worshippers, and the thousands who thronged for Taft in the Philippines, and the thousands who cheered Taft in the second invasion of Cuba. Yeah. So what I am looking forward to after finishing this, I think I really need to dig into the rise of Theodore Roosevelt and how he got to be that person who became the Rough Rider in Cuba. Okay. Then there is a slow read over at in Jerry's at Onyx Pages. I will link that down below, for Octavia Butler's Kindred. I thought I had the physical copy of Kindred. I may have it somewhere in these piles. But I also got the graphic novel adaptation by Damian Duffy and John Jennings of Octavia Butler's Kindred. And this is a slow read. And I think we're checking in at the end of September. And then I know there's an Austin July. I don't think I'll be able to participate, but if I can, I'll try to read Longbourne, because I want to know what happened from the servant's side of the story. That's where my headspace is. And as far as Puerto Rico also is concerned, now that I've finished Don Quixote and Sancho was the governor of Barataria, I will start reading Puerto Rican author Juan Lopez Bauza's novel, also called Barataria, which I'm guessing is Puerto Rico. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one because I loved the first novel that I read of his, El Resplandor de Luz Bella. It's absolutely enchanting book. So that's all, people. Time has been up. I didn't put on the timer. I hope I took TikTok off the phone, yeah, because it was taking up too much space. So I hope everyone takes very, very good care of yourselves. We have been put back on a modified lockdown here in Puerto Rico. Can't go to the beaches, but we're allowed to go to crowded shopping centers. Nerves are getting frayed.